Hello, everyone. You are now to episode 4 of the Cool Epic Awesome podcast. I'm your co-host Matt.
The co-host Joe. We got a lot to talk about this episode.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about Bullet Train, which we both went to see. We're gonna talk about Mother,
Mother,
which I suggested last week, and there's a couple stirs in the film industry, mainly
yeah,
what's
like
going on with
Batwoman news, yeah.
Warner Brothers. Yeah. So we'll talk about that a bit, but I guess to start, we'll get into Bullet Train. So this is directed by David Leitch, starring Brad Pitt, and I loved it. I thought it was one of the best movies to come out this year.
I did enjoy it. I thought it was good. I wouldn't put it up there with like Everything Everywhere and The Northman and all those other movies that we saw, but I still enjoyed it. I think it was good for what it was.
Yeah, I don't know, there's just a ton about it I liked. I liked like how stylized it was and how kind of like I guess wacky it was,
Yeah,
and in the vein of Deadpool and stuff
Deadpool,
like that.
exactly.
Yeah, because this director also directed Deadpool too, so you could see his style
And I love
throughout the whole thing.
the setting of anything in the setting of like Japan and the city and is also really cool to me. Like I love that about the movie. And on top of it, it was a good plot and good cast and everything like that.
Yeah, I guess just in case you haven't watched it, the plot is basically there's this guy who used to be a hitman. He's kind of stepping away from it a bit, and he ends up getting this last job. It's on a train. All he's supposed to do is secure a briefcase, but then shit doesn't go as planned, and a bunch of what murder and hilarity, I'll say, ensues.
Yeah,
And
it's the best way to
yeah,
put it.
I mean, the cast is phenomenal,
Oh
like
yeah.
all
Even the
across the
smaller
board.
roles were
Yeah, I don't.
like
Go ahead. Sorry.
even like the smaller characters in the there's like some characters that are literally in it for like maybe 5 minutes and like they're played by like very talented actors and actresses. I was
Yeah,
surprised that like some of the character almost felt underutilized in some ways, but I mean the movie was still good, but
yeah, definitely like Zazie Beats, or what is that her name?
yeah, from
She was in it for like a minute, maybe, and she's a great
yeah.
actress.
Yeah,
Um,
like she was really wasted, honestly.
yeah,
And I
that's
was
like
kind of
one
excited to see what's his name?
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
because
apparently they were talking up his performance, like, oh, he's like, this is what got him the role of El Morto. Like, they wanted to give him his own franchise, and he's literally in it for like 5 minutes.
yeah, I mean, he was good when he was in it, but he
Yeah,
had like no speaking roles, and he basically spoke only in Spanish, and
yeah.
it's hard for us to like gauge how good of a performance it was because we don't understand what he's saying, you know. Um, but yeah, I was surprised that he was in it that little. I thought he was gonna be like a main character, kind of,
Yeah,
because if
so do I.
so, like Sony saw that little part that he was in and was like, okay, let's give him his own Marvel franchise.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know what they got from. I mean, not that he was bad, but it just like it's not really enough to gauge an actor's like talent if he's in it for 5 minutes.
yeah. You know who else was in it? You know who played White Death?
Oh,
It
he
was Michael
played.
Shannon.
Yeah, he played. Obviously the Red Skull, right?
No, no, no. He played
Oh, Zod. I'm sorry, not Red
Zod.
Skull.
Yeah,
I'm
General
sorry.
Zod, and
Why is it Red Skull? And he was the
he's in Noct.
sheriff in
Yeah,
Nocturnal Animals. Yeah.
yeah. Great. I mean, he was a surprise too. There was a lot of cast members I didn't even know were gonna be in it.
I
Um,
felt like I don't know his whole accent. I couldn't really buy.
yeah, it was a bit
It
distracting, I
was
guess.
yeah, it was weird to me. But I mean, he was good in it.
Yeah. Also, Joey King was really good. Also, that's the girl who's like his
Oh
daughter.
yes, the daughter. Yeah, yeah, she was good.
Yeah. I wasn't. She was basically like the main villain, kind of, or at least one of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. But you don't really. You're not. I mean, you don't really know it until probably. I mean, I don't know. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I
There's
liked,
also
there
go
you go,
ahead.
you go.
There's also a couple small cameos that I thought were cool. Like Channing Tatum showed up, and then
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan
Yeah,
Reynolds
I
appeared for a
forgot about
second.
that, yeah.
just stuff like that. It kind of like adds to the comedy. It's like a little bit of a not a fourth wall break, but it's like it's funny because of who it is.
It's like a little wink at,
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, besides that, also Sandra Bullock showed up.
oh yeah, she was the woman like talking to him on the phone, right?
Yeah, you know that
Yeah.
Lady Gaga was originally supposed to play that, and
Oh really?
she got replaced. I don't know the full story, but yeah, that's kind of
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah. Um, Also, I liked like the fight choreography. I thought was really good,
Yeah.
and it was like I said, it was super stylized, where it's like they fight like along with music or something like that, and
Yeah.
that's something that reminded me a lot of Edgar Wright. I don't know if you watched a lot of his movies, but I
I
definitely
mean,
felt his stamp on it.
I liked how they used like in all the fights they used like a lot of things in the environment to like help with I thought that was really cool. I know it's like a small thing, but like
Yeah,
uh
I like when he chucks the water bottle.
yeah, like simple, not like stuff like that. Like I think it's cool when they utilize like in fight scenes they utilize the environment around them like to their advantage. I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I also like how it was like graphically violent, which is cool.
Way
They
yeah,
took
way more graphic than I expected, honestly.
Yeah, they took the R rating and like went all out with it,
Yeah.
which is good. Um, yeah, but to talk about Brad Pitt, I guess a little bit because he's like the star. I thought he was phenomenal, and I don't usually love Brad Pitt,
Yeah, he was
but
g I honestly, it felt like he was just playing like a not a basic, but like I don't know, like you knew what the character was gonna be like from the trailers. It wasn't he's not like a
yeah,
super deep character. It's kind of just like
yeah. I mean, usually you see him play the straight man, kind of, and
yeah, yeah,
I like seeing him with a bit of comedy in there.
yeah,
I don't. It might be one of my favorite performances of him. I loved him in Interview with the Vampire, but the roles are so different that it's hard to
yeah.
compare them. Um, But yeah, I mean, he's sort of getting towards the end of his career, I
Acting
think.
career. Yeah. What is he in his
Yeah.
50s?
I don't know, but I know he was recently, like, when they interviewed him, kind of had that vibe that
He's like
he
kind of
might,
he's gonna retire soon.
yeah.
Do you think he'll ever get in on like a Marvel or DC thing before he goes out?
Um, I don't know. I'll say probably not,
Yeah,
unless it's like a one movie kind
one-off
of
thing.
thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, I wanted to mention also, one thing that I think made the movie really good is a lot of time in films when they have to like give exposition, it can feel like forced and I don't know, kinda, like, thrown in.
it felt very smooth. The plot,
Yeah,
like everything, kind of made sense.
but when they had to explain, like, stuff that happened in the past, they did a good job of showing and not just telling, which is a
Telling,
lot of
yeah, yeah,
mistakes that a lot of movies make that mistake. So every time they mention, like, "Oh, this is what happened. This is the backstory of the Bad Bunny's character," instead of just talking about it, they would do, like, a quick little flashback, show a sped up version of what happened, and it just keeps the audience more engaged, and it makes that exposition feel more natural. And not just
yeah.
like they're explaining it just to explain it to the audience, you know?
I agree.
So that was great. Also, I liked how every single plot point got resolved by the end. Everything came full circle, whether it was the exploding handgun or the water bottle. Like, everything that was teased
Yeah,
eventually came full circle and was resolved. The
yeah,
snake also.
yeah. I feel like there was no like plot threads that weren't addressed at the
Yeah,
end. Like you didn't really have a lot of questions at the end,
yeah,
which was
um,
good. I feel like it's hard to find movies that do that today. Usually, like they'll leave a couple things unaddressed at the end of a movie. Like this really felt like it was like complete. Like there's no need to, you don't need to know anything else about like this story.
yeah. A lot of times it's easy to leave unresolved plot threads, and
Yeah,
they came around to all of them, at least of what I could tell. They also went into the idea of fate and good and bad luck and stuff like that, which I could see people not really liking that because it is kind of like corny a little bit. But
yeah. I mean,
I like how they explained like the idea of fate, especially with the water bottle at the end where it shows like everything that had to
thing that
happen
happened.
throughout the
Yeah.
movie just for the water bottle to get there, and
Mhm.
then that's what's needed to like stop White Death from like
From
striking
killing
down.
everybody. Yeah.
and killing the guy. So that was cool the way that they handled that.
Yeah, it didn't really feel like a basic, like, oh, like, fate, destiny type of plot, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
I don't know, it didn't feel, like, cheap, like, they really went for it.
yeah. And although, like I said, I loved it, I understand why people might not love it. I feel like just because of how unrealistic it could be at times.
Yeah,
I feel like the scene where Aaron Taylor Johnson's character gets kicked off the train and then
and then gets on
jumps
the
back
play, yeah.
on and gets in, that's the scene where you're either like, "Okay, I'm all on board with this," or you're like, "Okay, this is
This is
stupid."
stupid, yeah.
So that I felt like was a turning point in the movie in terms
Yeah,
of whether you would like it or not.
and I feel like for some people, like, the violence and humor could be, like, too in your face at some points in the movie. Like, for me,
Yeah.
I don't mind that, but I can understand, like, for, like, the general audience if it's, like, too much at times.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of points where they were joking a little too much,
Much, yeah.
but I didn't mi I thought most of the jokes were funny, and a lot of times
Yeah, I find it funny, yeah.
they were making fun of traditional tropes within movies, like,
Yeah.
remember at the end when, what's his face? Lemon? That's his name, right? The
The guy what's his name's twin? I forgot who's
Yeah,
Lemon,
Lemon
who's
is
Lime.
Brian Tyree Henry,
Oh, and Lime is,
or not Lime, Tangerine.
oh, Tangerine, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I knew it
so
was
there's a joke at the end where basically Tangerine dies, and then Lemon is talking to Pitt's character. He's like, "It's okay. I have another brother now." And he was talking, and then he's like, "Nah, just kidding." Like,
Oh,
you
yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I'm talking about? I thought that was
Yeah.
mad funny because usually it would be like some corny
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
dialogue or something like that, and they just I don't know. I just liked how they made fun of those types of tropes. Also, the thing I forgot the character's name, but it's like the samurai guy when he makes that metaphor about like the plum, and
What was that?
everyone's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, do you remember or
Oh,
no?
the plum? I
Yeah,
feel like I don't remember that.
he talks about a farmer and a plum.
Is this when he's talking to Brad Pitt's character?
Yeah,
Like,
like when they kind of have to team up at the end, and he starts saying this
oh,
analogy,
oh. Oh, yeah, yeah.
and they're all
I
just
do,
like, "What?
yeah.
Like, why are you saying a metaphor right now? Like, we're all about
Yeah,
to die." I thought stuff like that was very funny.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it
yeah,
goes
but
after those, like, classic, like, action movie tropes.
yeah, and it did it in a way that came off as funny, at least to
Only,
me.
yeah, it didn't feel forced or anything like that.
Yeah. And to talk about my favorite scene a little, it was in the trailer, but I liked the quiet car scene. I th-
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done, and it
I
was
love
very funny.
unique fight scenes like that.
Yeah, and like I
Like,
said before, the choreography was great too.
oh, yeah. Well, I feel like with any like, I mean, it was a Deadpool he did Deadpool, so I figured the fighting scenes would be pretty good. Because the
Yeah,
scenes in Deadpool are great too, the fighting scenes.
yeah. What was your favorite scene? You think?
The Quiet Car was really good. Um, I honestly, I mean, I liked, uh, Bad Bunny when he was in it, but he was only in it for, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Um, Probably the Quiet I mean, when Brad Pitt's character and was it Aaron Taylor Johnson, right? Am I saying wrong?
yeah, that's him.
Oh,
That's
like, their fight scene I really enjoyed, I thought that was a good fight scene.
Yeah. And the girl from The Boys shows up for, like, 1 second.
Oh, yeah, she's the card girl, I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
that's another wasted
Yeah,
act.
exactly. Yeah.
I
You know,
mean,
I
I
didn't
get
realize she was in the original Suicide Squad.
Yeah, she's
She
Katana.
plays Katana, I had no idea.
Yeah, and she also doesn't talk in that either.
Yeah,
It's kinda
that's
weird.
such a waste. Because she's a
Yeah.
really good actress.
Isn't it weird, though, that she's Katana and she has no dialogue, and then she goes to The Boys and her character can't talk either,
Yeah,
and then
that is
she's
kinda
in
weird.
this and, like, talks for
Yeah.
1 second. It's kinda strange, but yeah, my favorite characters, though, were it's a tie between Lemon and Tangerine. I thought Aaron
Yeah,
Taylor
those were I
Johnson
was gonna say, yeah, the
and
same
Brian
thing.
Tyree Henry they were both
Both
amazing,
really good, yeah.
and they had great chemistry too, playing off each other.
Mhm.
And yeah, like, you could tell by how they act that they felt like brothers, you know? And it's hard to
Yeah.
pull off when one's, like, a huge black dude and then Aaron Taylor Johnson is like a mustached white dude, and somehow they
Yeah,
still felt like brothers, you know?
brothers. Yeah, I
And
agree a lot.
yeah, and Sony apparently saw this and gave Aaron Taylor Johnson the role of Kraven.
Craven.
So I don't really know how his performance here could have been tied to Kraven, but I still
Besides
think it's a
having
good
long
choice.
hair.
Yeah, I still thought it was a good
So, yeah.
choice, but because we saw him in Nocturnal Animals too, he was amazing in that.
Yeah, that role probably reminds me more of Craven than him in this.
Yeah, in that he's more of like
More of
a
like a villain.
yeah, he's like
Not that
twisted,
I mean he's a villain in
sadistic.
this, but he's more like he's just like a psychopath.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so those are your favorite characters too, you think?
Yeah, yeah.
Alright. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about it. Like I said, I loved it. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add.
No, I mean I didn't like it as much as you did, but I did really enjoy it.
Yeah. I think for my list of the year, it's probably like top 4, top 5.
What I listed at? It's definitely like top 10, but it wasn't that high for me.
Yeah, there's only a couple movies that I thought were better than this that came out this year.
See,
And it's the year's kinda coming to an end too, which is crazy. It's
I
only
have it at number 9, but I've seen 26 movies this year. Like
yeah,
from that came out this year. So I mean it's still high, but not like
yeah. It was 6, 6th on my list. But
so speak now like going into our next point. Um what do you have like cuz I want to talk about Prey for a little bit.
yeah, wait, let's just give our ratings though
Oh
really
yeah, I'm
quick.
sorry.
So yeah, I gave it 4.5 stars, so 9 out of 10. Like I said, I don't know, there was just something about it that I loved. I understand why people wouldn't like it, and it's not the 9 doesn't necessarily reflect how good the movie is,
But
but
you enjoyed it.
yeah, my ratings
Yeah.
usually are half of it will be how good the film is, and then half will be how much I personally enjoyed it. So yeah, I gave this one a 9
Yeah.
out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it a 8 out of 10. I still really enjoyed it, but like some moments felt like a little too like too much for me. But I still really enjoyed it. It was one of the better movies to come out this year.
Yeah, alright, so you wanna talk about Prey, you said?
Yeah, because I was looking at my list and Bullet Train and Praise 8. I would I mean I really like I'm not a big I mean I remember watching like the Predator and the Alien movies when I was a kid. But like this film like I really like enjoyed. Like the plot was really cool. I feel like it was a really unique take on the Predator story. Like to have it come like in that time period was a really interesting choice. And I thought it was I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was sick. Like the way she trains and outsmart like doesn't like physically outbeat it, but like outsmarts it. I thought was really cool.
Yeah, and that's kinda how you can tell that people on the internet are saying, "Oh, how can" people are saying, "How can this girl defeat the Predator? Like, it's not realistic. This is just woke." Like, stuff like that. You could tell they
It's
clearly
stupid.
didn't watch the
They
movie
don't
because
understand the purpose of the movie, yeah.
yeah. But, yeah, speaking for those of you who don't know, Prey is it's a prequel to Predator, the Predator films. It's supposed to be the
Yeah.
first time a predator ever touched down on Earth, and it's in this, like, Native American society. Um, this is probably my favorite of all the Predator films. I thought it was better than the original because it has all that sick, like, gore and great kills,
Violence, yeah.
but it's also very well made. It's very well shot. The
Yeah,
pacing is very good, and the performances were all great. I know this girl, Amber Mid-Thunder or whatever. Is that her name?
I think so.
She's probably gonna be booked and busy after this.
Oh,
I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised if Marvel tries to come after her for
Yeah.
something.
I've seen a shit ton of, like, people fan casting her as X-23,
Yeah, um,
but, yeah, she was phenomenal. Even that the her brother, that was, like, his first acting role, I believe. I forgot the actor's name.
yeah, he was really good too.
He was good too, yeah.
The dog was good.
Yeah, everybody was it was really I don't know, it was just a really good, like, movie, and I feel like a lot of people go into Predator movies, like, just expecting, like, dumb violence and, like which, going into this, I was like, "Oh, it's a Hulu movie, it's probably gonna just be, like, stupid because the last couple Predator movies haven't been good, and I was, like, really surprised at how much I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I don't know if you've watched any of the other Predator films.
The
Have you
last
or
one I watched was with, like, the one that came out, like, 2016, I think? I don't I f the poster's, like, orange, and it's, like, someone holding a predator's head.
Yeah, yeah, I watched all the other films. I watched that one recently just to
That
kinda
one's
prepare
bad, right?
myself. That movie is terrible.
Yeah.
It's actually so bad. It's
Like,
directed
I
by
don't
Shane Black, who's a good director. He directed Iron Man 3, and he also directed, The Nice Guys and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which are all, like, action
those movies.
comedies,
Yeah.
and they're good at what they're doing, but Predator shouldn't be an action comedy, you know? It should be a
If anything, it should be
serious
serious. If anything, it would be more
horror.
action horror, yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. He got Keegan-Michael Key as one of, like, the main cast members, and he's cracking, like, sexual jokes every 5 seconds, so you're not scared of the Predator at all, and it's you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, yeah, this movie completely, like, blew that out of the water, and that's why I
Yeah.
was a little bit scared going in.
Especially straight, like, Disney seeing it and, like, being like, "Oh, let's just put it to streaming." I was like, "This is definitely gonna be horrible."
Yeah, and also another thing, it's made by Disney, which they don't
Well,
have to.
I don't think they made it, like, Fox produced it, but they just inherited it from Fox.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because I was gonna say Disney doesn't have the greatest track record for anything horror or serious rated R
Yeah,
type of
no.
stuff, because they
Yeah.
just wanna make as much money as possible, so they
Yeah, so
don't
they
want.
try to appease to every single audience
Yeah.
rather than yeah.
Yeah, I didn't the one thing I didn't like about it was the Predator's design. I thought it was significantly worse than
Yeah, but
previous.
I understand why they wanted to do something different. I was fine with it. Like, I prefer the original design, but, like, this is okay to me. And it's like
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's like because it took place like so many years in the past, like the predator evolves over time and like
Yeah.
changes. But yeah, so I figured that was why it looked like that.
Yeah, I mean, Predators throughout the franchises have been known to look different, not all of them look the same.
Yeah,
And I thought when he was wearing the mask was very cool. It kinda looks like a
yeah.
bone mask kinda
I think he
thing.
made it from. He's didn't he make it from bones or no?
I don't think so. I think when he
Uh,
arrived, he already had it. Or I could be
oh,
wrong. He might have made it from the bear, maybe?
I thought like because him killing all the animals, I thought he used all the bones. Do you remember how
He
he like takes the wolf's head and like puts him like he like cuts the off and like puts the wolf's head like on his side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I figured like he just killed a bunch of animals and made a mask out of it.
Yeah, that could be it. And the mask looked really cool. I just didn't like how
Yeah, it
his
was
face
cool.
looked.
The shield was cool.
Yeah. All the kills were awesome too. That one scene where those guys are staking out to, like, try to catch him,
Oh yeah,
and he
that
just
was sick when he
murders
kills
all of
all the
them.
French, like the French people.
Yeah. That like, from then on, the movie was just, like, awesome, like,
Yeah, and
exactly what I want in a movie.
it's so like because like all the other movies they have like modern weapons. Like so like they actually like I don't know. It's I feel like it's different because like when the people fighting with like bow and arrows, like they have no idea. Like they have like they've never heard of like there's no such thing as a gun back. Well, I mean, you know what I mean, like a modern weapon, and the predator comes in with all this like futuristic technology and just like absolutely demolishes them. I thought
Yeah.
that was really cool.
And that's why the only way they could beat it is by using his own weaponry against
Weapon
him.
outsmarting, yeah,
But yeah, actually in the original Predator though, they do end up killing him with, like, traps and stuff.
yeah,
So it's not that's why when people are getting tight, like, "Oh, how can a Native American kill a predator?" Like, literally the first Predator movie, they kill him with
with the trap.
traps made out of, like, trees and stuff, so, again, just people not watching the movie or understanding the franchise that are complaining, but, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming they're gonna do a sequel to this, maybe following the girl again or
I feel like they should do their best bet, like just leave this alone and do it in like another one in like a different time period.
yeah, I saw something on Twitter that was like, what if they did a Predator in, like, a feudal Japan, and there's, like, a
Yeah,
disgraced
that's the thing
samurai.
I saw. That would be sick. I would love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good idea, just do kinda like anthology stories in different time periods.
And just yeah, I feel like they could and you could redesign not like majorly, but like change the design of the predator for each different like time period.
Yeah.
I saw that on
And
Twitter too, actually, the feudal Japan one. I think that's like a really, really good idea.
yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Something else to think about though is that I'm kind of excited for is Disney is also doing an Alien kind of reboot TV show. So if that's successful, there's
I
potential to
hope,
see
yeah.
an Alien versus Predator. Hopefully one that's actually good. Unlike
When is the TV show coming out? It's on Hulu, right?
yeah, I think 2023 it's coming out, and it's Ridley Scott's coming back to produce, which is a good sign.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah, I feel like he wouldn't have taken the project if he thought it was gonna be bad.
Yeah, and also like he could put his input into it, if
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
producing it. So
They have Hulu has a bunch of like decent stuff coming out soon. They also have like the the Hellraiser reboot, which I completely forgot about. That apparently is coming out this year.
the what reboot?
Hellraiser.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that. I love Hellraiser.
They cast some actress as Pinhead. I don't really know
Yeah,
like too much about her, but
I
like
mean,
literally, that doesn't really matter like who the actress is. Like she
yeah,
just or
in the
actor.
original, sorry to cut you off, but in the
There you
original
go.
novel that Hellraiser is based on, the Cenobite Pinhead is described as a woman.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so
Oh, I didn't even know that. So why are people bugging out then?
just because every time there's a gender swap or race swap, people just scream woke on Twitter. I mean, there
Yeah,
are instances where it is forced, but a lot of the
it's
times people just get mad over anything.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited for that. A lot of great content is starting to come to streaming, like very well made. It's kind of crazy.
Who's had Palm Springs? I mean, I haven't seen, but I've heard people like it. Um, Fresh was the one they just released right recently, which I've heard
Yeah,
was good with Sebastian Stan,
yeah, it was good.
and then this. So I mean, they've had like though this year they've had a pretty good track record with like
Yeah, and it's crazy that we're getting to the point where you no longer have to go to a cinema to get a high quality, great
quality.
movie
Yeah,
experience. You know, which
I mean,
it's a good and bad thing, in different ways.
I'm sorry, I personally enjoy going to the movies and like you know get like seeing it on the big screen. But I know a lot of friends that just will now they just wait to go like till stuff comes to streaming because like they just don't feel like going.
Yeah, now a lot of times I know Disney does this. It's a 45-day release
Yeah.
window.
HBO
So
Max is like 30 days, I think.
yeah, so they'll put a movie in theaters 45 days later. It's on Disney Plus already.
Yeah,
So streaming is the future, I guess. But
for better or for worse.
yeah, and I'll still always go to the theaters, even when
Oh yeah.
those movies were doing HBO Max same day. I
Hmm.
still went to the theaters,
Yeah,
like
I
to
remember
see
like
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. I did it for.
I wanted to do Godzilla vs
Yeah, I
Kong,
wanted
but
to too, but I don't think theaters were open at that point.
yeah,
It was
so
like March. But
yeah,
yeah, I for Predator I gave it. Oh, Predator for Prey I gave it 4 stars.
yeah. I
It was
also
close to a 4.5, but on terms of like which of is a better movie, I think Prey is better than Bullet Train, in my opinion at least.
I preferred Bullet Train, but I gave it a 4. I thought it was great, and I'm
Yeah,
excited to see what they do with the Predator franchise in the future for
yeah.
sure. Yeah. So do you want to move on to the DC stuff?
Yeah, we can talk about it,
Yeah,
and then what? Yeah, we'll do Mother after.
just to get into like some of the news within the past 2 weeks. The main thing that's been going on was what DC and Warner Brothers have been doing. Joe, if you want, you could explain the whole Batgirl thing.
Yeah, so basically Warner Brothers has they had a merger with Discovery, so they have like a whole bunch of new bosses, and they kind of want to like clean the slate with all the DC properties because I mean like they had a plan going forward, but everything happening with Ezra Miller and stuff, they just want to start fresh. So a lot of movies that they've made, like they're having just not premiere and get like tax write-offs for it. And one of them being was Batgirl. That was probably the biggest thing they canceled because it was the film has been done. They're like at the end of like post production, so the film's like practically done. Like they could release it if they wanted to, but they're just not going to release it at all. And a lot of people are annoyed about it. And I mean, I don't think it was going to be anything like super amazing, but I probably would have enjoyed it. It was the directors of Miss Marvel, they're brothers. I forgot.
Yeah, it's like
wasn't
Bilal and something.
yeah.
I forget.
It had Brendan Fraser, uh, Michael Keaton, and then obviously the actress name for
Leslie Grace, she's from In
Leslie
the
Grace
Heights.
from In the Heights as Batgirl. Like, it had an interesting cast. Apparently, Killer Moth and Nightwing were gonna be in it at some point, and people were saying, I think what was his name? David O'Brien?
Dylan
He was
O'Brien.
in yeah, he was supposed to play Nightwing. That was, like, the rumor. I mean, I didn't think it was gonna be anything amazing, but I love Brendan Fraser, and I liked Miss Marvel. So I was
Yeah,
kinda disappointed that this wasn't gonna come out.
I wasn't excited for it. I still would've watched it, um, but, like, my opinions on what I thought the film was gonna be or not, like, don't matter. This is completely unheard of. Canceling a completed movie that they put 90 million into it,
Yeah,
completely done shooting. It was just in the editing room. It was basically done, and they just scrapped the entire thing. So you have months, maybe years of people's lives going into working on this, and then just like snap and it's done.
for
They
nothing, yeah.
canceled it, and the actors, the people involved in the film, only found out through
Social
social
media.
media, which to me, it just that's like a slap in the face to their talent, to Warner Brothers talent,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh,
Because
and
I'm at
J.K. Simmons was in it as well, I completely forgot.
yeah, so being like those directors or being Leslie Grace, why would you ever want to work with Warner Brothers again? Or if you're an actor and Warner Brothers offers you to be in something, how can you trust to work with them if they didn't have any problem with completely scrapping a movie just for a tax write-off? It
Yeah, and
shows that they don't care about their talent, you know?
what I don't understand too is, like, with the tax write-off, they're supposed to lose like, I think it's supposed to be, like, they get, like, 10 to 20 million back. Like, if they would've released it in theaters, like, I feel like they would've definitely made that back. 20 million.
I mean, yeah, but that would have to be 20 million in profit, which I still think they would have made because they would have had to probably, including advertising, the budget
Advertising,
would probably be around
be
200
around 200
million.
million, yeah.
Yeah, so they would have to beat that, which I think they could
They
do in
probably
this.
could, yeah.
Yeah, in this era of superhero films, and anything with like bat in the title, like Batman,
Yeah,
is gonna sell.
yeah.
So
Like, I don't think it would've been, like, a massive hit, but, like, it would've at least I would've made some profit. Like, Shazam level, I would've thought profit
yeah,
around there, probably a little less.
yeah, Warner Brothers is just a mess, honestly.
Yeah.
And the top for the cherry on top of all this, they go into this briefing or whatever, and they're talking about okay, this is what we're gonna do with DC. We're keeping the Flash. Everything's good with the Flash. Meanwhile, Ezra Miller's on the run from police. He was in trouble for grooming someone, for assault, all this stuff, and then 2 days later, he gets arrested for burglary.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are you keeping this movie, yet you're gonna
It
cancel
may
this.
yeah.
It doesn't make sense, and I don't know. It just they
I
look
well,
like
I know why they're not. We don't wanna because it's so important to the future of, like, them resetting. Like, it's not like because what they're probably gonna do, how the movie ends is that he's gonna whatever, like, the timeline gets reset. They're gonna have a new actor as the Flash. That I feel like 100% is gonna happen. There's no way he's coming back.
yeah,
And
no shot.
then they'll probably keep I'm assuming Shazam and Aquaman, and then, I mean, they don't really have any other properties outside of that. I mean, Peacemaker, I guess. Well, yeah, James Gunn already said Peacemaker season 2 is, like, still gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, there's a like, I don't know. I'm not really sure what DC is gonna do if
And then
the
but
thing
what's even
is,
weirder is, like, they still have, like they confirmed that they're still doing the Green Lantern show, and they're still doing the Constantine show. And, like,
yeah,
I forgot her name. Zatanna they're still doing the Zatanna movie, apparently.
Black Canary
Like
movie they're still doing.
yeah, like but didn't wasn't I'm pretty sure the Batgirl movie was supposed to lead into the Black Canary movie.
Yeah, it was.
So, like, it's just, like it's I
But
don't know.
here's the thing, this is all, like, a deep-rooted issue within Warner Brothers and DC. This new management that came in was like, "Okay, why as DC are you not pushing out Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman?"
Wonder Woman, yeah.
The 3 big guys that they haven't had a Superman on screen since, like what, Justice League 5 years ago, maybe?
Snyder Cut was the last thing.
I mean, yeah, but that wasn't in the plan originally,
Yeah.
you
I don't
know?
think Henry Cavill's gonna come back, though.
I don't know. But yeah, let me
He's busy with he's doing The Witcher, which is like that's like half the year he does The Witcher.
yeah,
And
but
then why would he even wanna work with him at this point?
I know. Wait, let me just finish this thought really quick.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's like you have all these high tier heroes who are more popular and more well known than Marvel heroes, and you see Disney making billion-dollar movies every year, and you're making a Batgirl movie, you're making a Zatanna movie, like make a Superman movie, you know? It doesn't make sense, but that's what this new management is seeing, and they are right.
yeah.
But to go back and completely shelf a movie that's finished
Basically, it's
is
completed, yeah.
crazy. Yeah. They
Like,
should
I
have
get
just let
like
this die out, like this whatever's left of DC, you kind of let it die out and then restart, you know?
yeah, I mean, but they were gonna restart they could restart and still keep this Batgirl film.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess
it's
they
not
could.
like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's so attached to of the other properties. It's basically on its own.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely would have been interesting. I would love to see Brandon Fraser back. And for
Yeah,
those
so
of
would
you who
I.
might not know the name, he's the star of the original Mummy movies.
I
But
mean, I love him in Doom Patrol. I know you haven't seen that. They canceled that too. That's like one of their best. I mean, in my opinion, it's one of the best superhero shows like ever made. It's up there with The Boys and Daredevil to me. But like, it's definitely the best DC show.
yeah, and
But
DC has some great stuff, but the thing is the new management wants it to be concise and all one universe. He even
yeah,
said it's David Zaslav is the guy. He even said like we want to follow what Kevin Feige did at Marvel. He literally said
yeah,
that, which is have like a 10-year plan, have all these interconnected movies that will build up to big team up films, which that's always what makes like the big bucks in Hollywood.
yeah.
But there are a couple things that they're still going through with, like hopefully the Batman too, but apparently it's not greenlit yet.
No,
So
there's no way. I don't think like that was like not even as a superhero film, like as a film in general. It was like a really, really good film. I think it's the best Batman film ever made, in
yeah,
my
I agree.
opinion.
I thought it was better than The Dark Knight,
Dark Knight, yeah,
barely.
it's really. I know a lot of people don't think that, but for me personally, if not, it's the second best one made. Like compare
Yeah.
that to Batman Begins, like it's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, well, Nolan's films are great, but
No, they're still really
in
good.
terms
I'm
of being
yeah,
comic accurate and understanding the Batman character and being faithful to the source material, they're not the greatest.
yeah,
Like Christian Bale isn't a comic accurate depiction of Batman.
no,
His suit is like a military padded up
great,
suit because
yeah.
they want to make it like realistic.
That's like so. Here's my thing about that. Like, I'm sick of seeing a grounded Batman. Like, yes, I understand. Like, it's cool that he's like supposed to be he has no superpowers. That I understand. But like, I want to. He has such a cool like rogues gallery of like fictional villains that like Mr. Freeze, like an accurate Bane, Killer Croc, uh, Man Bat, like all these villains that like you just can't even touch if you want to do like a super grounded Batman. And I feel like it's such a waste. Like I want to see him fight like actual like fiction of it. Like Clayface is another one that's sick.
Yeah, I was gonna say Clayface is my hope for the Batman too, because he was great in Arkham City, the Batman game.
And so like Arkham City, all the Arkham games, like that's like the perfect blueprint for like how to do a Batman that feels like real world, but also incorporate those like fictional elements, like the villains and stuff like that. Would still make it feel like it's real.
Yeah, but speaking about Batman villains, also I forgot to mention Joker 2.
Oh yeah.
Joker 2 got greenlit, and they put a little teaser out confirming Lady Gaga's involvement.
I think they
And
start shooting in New York City in December, they said.
yeah, also there's a couple other details that came out about it. They said it's more similar to A Star Is Born and less similar to In the Heights. So it's not like a flat out musical, but if you've seen A Star Is Born, there's a lot of musical elements, and they do have like singing numbers in it,
Yeah.
which I feel like that's good. That's fine. You have a good talent in Lady Gaga to sing, so why
Yeah.
not use her? I guess.
I feel like the only way they're gonna be able to pull it off is if they do it that the singing and stuff is taking place more in like his mind. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't
Yeah,
think
I'm
that
assuming they're gonna do that. I don't really know
yeah.
what else they could do, but yeah. Also, it came out how much they're getting paid. Joaquin's getting 20 mil. and she's
The
getting
other guy's
10
getting
mil.
10. That's still crazy.
Yeah, it's
It's
great
like
money for
literally that's half the budget's. Oh no, the budget's what, 150 million they said?
150.
I was gonna say the first one was like 70. That's both of them, that's like half the
Yeah,
budget.
well, yeah, I mean, a fifth of the budget goes straight to the talent. 20
Yeah,
million for a film is a lot,
that's insane, yeah.
you know?
But he never does sequels, Joaquin, so I feel like they had to pay him a like, the only way he was gonna come back, obviously, if he liked the script, but he had to be paid pretty well too.
Yeah, and this is also, I could be wrong about this, but I think it's his first time in like a franchise, or
Yeah.
a pre-established property. He played Jesus before, but I don't think that really counts.
'Cause I feel like it's a Joker, like, yes, it's like a comic film, but, like, it's more just, like, a deeper like, it's kind of like a story being told that's just set in, like, a comic book universe more than it's actually a superhero movie. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
And also, I forgot to mention this, the second one, Scorsese is producing.
Oh, he is?
Scors
I didn't know that.
Yeah, which is, I mean,
Interesting.
nothing has to be said about that. You basically know Scorsese's track record.
Yeah.
So, and the first film definitely had like a Scorsese vibe to it with the King of Comedy and Taxi Driver
Yeah.
um
Who wrote the
elements.
script? Todd Phillips?
Yeah, I think he wrote it, and he also wrote the script for Joker too. Also, I'm
He
pretty sure Bradley Cooper is producing.
I wanna look it up now and see. What's it just called, Joker 2? Yeah.
Yeah, it has the name. It's like Folie à Deux or something. I'm saying it wrong. Obviously, it's something in French, but
Yeah, Scorsese, Emma Tilger Gossif, I don't know who that is, Walter Hamada, Todd Phillips, Christina, I don't know who this woman
these
is,
are the
but she did
producers.
Batman, Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Didn't they want Todd Phillips as like an executive with DC? Like they want him overseeing a bunch of
Yeah,
shit.
DC's looking, or Warner Brothers is trying to find the Kevin Feige of DC. One name that got floated out recently is Greg Berlanti. I don't know if you know who he is.
Oh, he isn't he the guy from CW?
Yeah, he basically ran the Arrowverse,
Honestly
which,
though, like I like that pick. Like
yeah, that's a great pick. He knew how to handle
yeah,
crossovers, big universes. He was just
with
limited
limited
with what
budget.
he could do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you give him the better characters, the bigger budget, I
And
don't see a
honestly,
better choice than
yeah,
him.
all of the all of, like, the Arrow like, in the beginning, like, I remember in the beginning, Arrow and Flash were, like, good TV shows.
Yeah, The Flash was it wasn't like super comic booky or like crazy and
Yeah,
nonsensical. It was very grounded. The
yeah,
first season of The Flash is amazing, honestly.
yeah, they're all Arrow and Flash, both the first seasons are really good. What are the
Yeah,
other shows I did?
now it's like schlock,
Yeah,
but
now it's not good, but well, Flash is ending,
yeah, also Legends of Tomorrow. That
ended.
show was just like a joke. Like
Yeah.
they just took the most random DC characters and they're like, "All right, we're gonna time travel." Did you ever see the clip where Gorilla Grodd pulls up on
Oh, they
Obama?
go back to Obama, yeah. He's
It's
like,
like
what is
He was
make
like, "Go
like,
ahead, I
"Make
forget."
Garage Great Again" or something like that.
He was like, "Mr. Obama, I am here to kill you," or something.
Yeah.
You could find
No,
the
I think
clip on Twitter.
it's like him listening to records and then, like, the Gorilla Grodd just, like, busts through the door, and it's like, "Obama." This is
Yeah.
just such, like, marathon.
Yeah, that show is
I forgot
nonsense.
what that
But yeah,
yeah.
Berlanti I think would
What
be a
else do
good
they
pick.
have? Is
Um,
did he actually get it, or, like, that's just, like, the
no,
rumor?
that's a rumor. That's a rumor.
Oh, but I mean, as sad as it is to see all these properties die, like, I do think in the long term, it's probably for the better.
Yeah, I
'Cause
agree. If they
if but
wanna
that's if they can make these movies good. Because like, if they have like, scrap everything and movies still suck, like, it doesn't matter, like, what plan you have. The movies still have to be good.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's like, "Oh, I want this 10-year plan." Let's say he makes the 10-year plan and then puts out his first 2 movies and they're shit. Do you restart
Yeah,
again? Like, what do you do, you know?
yeah.
So they have to make sure they get talented people and they get good directors,
Not
good
rush it, yeah,
producers.
like,
Yeah.
there's literally no like, I feel like they're never they should know, like, they're never gonna catch the MCU. So, like, there's no need to rush. Like, just take their time, like, produce a movie, like, make sure the script is right, get, like, talented people involved. Like, if I have to, like, I'm willing to wait longer, like, as a fan, if I know the quality's gonna be better,
Yeah, because
but
the DC character, they're very different than Marvel characters.
yeah, and they're honestly the I feel like DC has better stories too.
Yeah, one thing that people say a lot about the difference between DC and Marvel is DC heroes are gods trying to be men, and Marvel heroes are men trying to be gods. So it's kind
Um,
of like think about Superman, Wonder Woman. They're like
yeah,
basically gods, you know?
but I feel like
And
there's
that's a
2
huge
sides,
difference
like
between the two.
but, like, there's characters like that, like Thor and Hulk are basically like gods. Well, Thor is
Yeah.
literally a god, and then you can say the same thing about Batman, like, Batman's a you know, well, like, he's not a god,
Yeah, but I mean,
like Green Arrow.
yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I just thought I was just pointing that out because you could make like vastly different versions of
Yeah,
superhero universes. And I feel like they kind of delve into that in DC a little bit, like the whole god aspect of it. These
yeah.
super powerful beings.
Like, I
Um,
mean, I feel like Snyder tried to get into that. I mean, I just don't think he did like, a good job of the film. I mean, Man of Steel was okay. No,
yeah,
it's not bad, it's okay.
I hate Zack Snyder.
Nah,
He's
I
one
think
of
he, like honestly, I don't hate him, I hate his fans. I
he's
feel like
probably
he's, like, a normal dude.
he's like my least favorite director, probably.
I
I
mean,
just
300 is sick, but other than that, I feel like he doesn't really have any good films. 300 is his
yeah
best film, it's not even close.
yeah I haven't seen it, but
Really? Oh, it's sick.
yeah, nah, I'll watch it one of these days. But yeah,
Um,
just let's just move
oh, he
on
did
from
The
DC.
Watchmen too. Yeah, let's talk about Mother. I have a lot to say about that.
Wait, nah, not yet. There's still a couple more things. Just a
Oh,
quick mention. Um, I want to talk about She-Hulk a little bit because it's releasing this Thursday, first episode,
oh, yeah.
and we got our first look at Daredevil, the full cowl and everything. The suit looks sick.
Yeah, I love that they're doing like, they're gonna do yellow, and then there's a rumor that they're gonna do the all black suit in Echo, which I think would be dope.
Yeah. What do you think about the? I don't know what's the correct term for this, but
Ship?
I guess I'll say the pussyification of Hulk.
What do you mean?
He's like a bitch now. He's not like screaming, raging Hulk.
Well, I feel
You
like
know?
he's been the Hulk for, like, what, 10 years? So, like,
Yeah.
he kinda just doesn't wanna, like it makes sense for his character. Like, he's been, like, he finally has control of, like, being able to be a normal human being, like,
hmm
act normal, so I feel like why would he not do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just makes the character less interesting to me. He's basically just a big, smart dude. I kind of miss the older Hulk where
Well,
he
now
was
I mean
raging and going insane, like the one from Ragnarok. I thought that was a good
yeah.
medium because he was the Hulk for a while, so he was able to talk a little bit and like
Well, now, I mean, you did the whole thing apparently, She-Hulk is gonna lead into a World War Hulk movie.
yeah, which I hope they do. I feel like Marvel is good at listening to fans, and I think they've been seeing fans complain about Professor Hulk.
I mean, like, I get it, but, like, for his character, I feel like it makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, but I don't know. I just would prefer to see the raging monster in Hulk rather than
Yeah,
just
because I feel
big
like
brute man.
all other iterations of Hulk, like, you don't really get to see, like, this like, the Bruce Banner side. Well, I mean, I get it because like, Hulk is the thing that sells, but it's cool to see, like, him like, Bruce Banner as a character and not just the Hulk,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, I guess it is kind of best of both worlds in a way, but
Yeah, because it's not like they'll never make him not be the Hulk. Like, he's always gonna have moments of him just, like, hulking out.
yeah. Um, what's it called? Yeah, I think also Wong's gonna show up in the show. I think there's probably gonna be a couple more cameos that they haven't shown yet
Yeah,
because
because
they've
they're
shown
showing
so much.
Daredevil. Yeah, if they're showing Daredevil, like, there's definitely that's why I think the Fantastic Four thing is true.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
if you guys don't know, last week or 2 week the last episode, 2 episodes ago, there was a rumor going out that, um, the Thing what's his actual name? Ben Grimm, right?
Ben Grimm. Yeah,
Ben Grimm, yeah, was gonna appear in the show, and, like, I don't know if it was gonna be it didn't clarify if it's him as, like, a human and maybe, like, the Thing didn't happen, or it's him as the Thing. But and as soon as I saw Daredevil, and I was like, that's probably gonna be true because if they're showing Daredevil in the trailer, like think about how much they hid that in Spider-Man,
I
and he
know.
wasn't even he wasn't even like in Daredevil. He was just like Matt Murdock, the lawyer. Like it wasn't even like he suited up. So for them to show that in the trailer, like they're definitely hiding something like crazier. Either that or the whole thing with Hulk's son. I mean, it could be both, honestly.
Yeah, after that little TV spot that came out where that ship from Sakaar showed up,
Yeah.
that seems to me like they're going in that direction of Hulk having a son.
Yeah, which I think is cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't know much about his son in the comics, the character. I just know that in that Planet Hulk storyline, which was developed into Thor Ragnarok story, when he's
Oh,
on
okay.
Sakaar, he has a son, and he finds out about him like way later on. Um,
Yeah, I was like doing some research. Apparently, his son is like there's a storyline where like he inherits like some power from the planet he's born. Like he can, I think he can become stronger than the actual Hulk.
oh really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know when the show was first being developed, there were rumors that oh, there's gonna be a ton of Hulks showing up. So like maybe Red
yeah,
Hulk will show up, maybe his son will show up.
yeah. Because I feel like I want them to do Red Hulk and Thunderbolts.
Yeah, and honestly, seeing all these trailers and spots, like I'm actually very excited about this. And
Yeah,
I haven't been that hyped for a Disney Plus show, Marvel
and I
show,
feel like
probably
it's. I mean, like
since
it's gonna
Loki.
be. I don't know if you saw the clip of like when they get in the accident and then they have the intro like it's a law show.
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like it's gonna be like a I don't know. It's gonna feel more like a law show than a superhero show.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a normal law show, like a lawyer
That
going through
just happened.
cases,
Yeah.
except all the cases are superheroes.
You know, yeah.
Which is it's a great concept, you
Yeah.
know? There's a lot of especially going in from a comedic aspect, there's a
Yeah.
lot of, like, great ways that you can make it funny,
Yeah.
you
I'm
know?
interested to see like how they do I know they said they're gonna do a lighter version of Matt Murdock. Like he's not gonna
Yeah.
be as which like I'm fine with. Like we got our like dark, brutal version of him. Like I'm perfectly fine with having a lighthearted
Yeah, and we got 3
Daredevil.
seasons of that with
Yeah,
13
like
one-hour episodes each, like,
yeah, like he
there's a
doesn't have to
ton
be
of
like a
content.
brooding monster the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess next, podcast, we'll talk about the first 2 episodes a little bit
Yeah.
because 'cause they'll be out by then.
Speaking of Marvel, though, there's two other things that I wanted to mention. Quick, was one the first look at the Ironheart suit, and then they confirmed that I forgot the actor's name. He was in The Heights as well.
Oh, Anthony Ramos.
Yeah, he's playing the Hood, which is like a magic based character. So I was kind of it was like a rumor a while ago, I remember, but I was like I didn't think it was true because like I was like, why is Ironheart gonna have like a magic villain? Like I feel like it's gonna be like some tech villain. But apparently he's in it, and there's also rumors that, like, he's gonna be in a like, working under, what's her name?
Val?
No, Agatha Harkness
Oh, oh, maybe.
as, like,
Because
because he's a magic villain.
yeah, and I like the idea of magic versus tech and how they're gonna
Yeah,
explore
it's a
that.
cool concept that they haven't really, like, addressed that in the movies at all or shows.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because you have, like, the Tony Starks and the Doctor Stranges, but they never really went against each other like
Yeah,
that, you know? I guess
yeah,
Thanos not magic, but the way when he used, like, reality stone and stuff like that, when he
yeah,
but he didn't really use that against
yeah.
Parker.
Well, the first if you like, magic and tech, the first character that comes to mind is Doctor Doom, because
Yeah,
he's basically, like, kinda like if you combine Iron Man and Doctor Strange,
yeah,
in a way, like, so I feel like they wanna introduce that like, idea to people. Like, I feel like by the end of the show, like, they're gonna show how they're both, like, I don't know, like, they're gonna incorporate, like, themes of Doctor Doom and how he can have both, like, he's good at both,
yeah,
into the show. Like, maybe not talking about Doom specifically, but maybe just, like, talking about the idea of, like, someone having both tech and magic.
yeah. Um, yeah, let me mention one more thing, and then we'll move on to Mother
Oh, yeah.
because
Yeah, we're
we're
going
not
good.
yeah, we're not running late or anything, but just
Yeah.
to because I know we're both gonna have a lot to say about Mother, so the one other thing I wanted to mention is finally our first tease for the FNAF movie.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that.
This is actually groundbreaking. I can't believe it's
Yeah.
finally happening.
This is like the first time I think they actually like have shown any sort of like I mean it's not promotional, but like it's like a look. They haven't
Yeah.
even like said anything about it.
Yeah,
So
so just
and
so
also it confirms that they're in pre-production too.
I know. So Jason Blum, who runs Blumhouse Studios, posted a picture on his Twitter of like this guy working on this clay model of a puppet, and the puppet is, or not the puppet, but an animatronic, I guess. And you could see like the body and the arm, and it's Freddy Fazbear's like body. And he was like, "It's been so great working with like Jim Henson's puppet shop, like their team." For those of you who don't know, Jim Henson was the guy who did the Muppets. So very talented like people behind this, puppeteers and practical effects work, I'll say.
Yeah.
And yeah, they did stuff like the Dark Crystal, obviously like I said, the Muppets. So I like that they're going for the actual physical animatronic rather than doing CGI.
Yeah, I agree. I
And
feel
I
like it adds it like it makes it more like I guess scarier, like creepier when it's like actually there.
yeah. And I also like it is for jokes. Like FNAF is cringy, obviously, and it's like jokes, but there's potential for the movie to actually be good and scary. You
Yeah.
know, animatronics like
It's gonna
come
make a
into
shit
life.
ton of money though, 100%. Like I don't like so many people are just gonna see that like just like I feel like they have a huge following, FNAF.
Yeah, definitely, and kids definitely. So
Yeah,
they might do PG-13. I'm not sure,
I feel like they
but
will because like it doesn't really need to be like gory and like you know what I mean. Like they could,
yeah, if they roll horror, like the animatronics moving a little on the cams and stuff like that, not like a not like Freddy chasing people with a knife down like
yeah,
hallways and
yeah.
stuff.
Like it doesn't need to be like it's not scary because like they fucking like stab you to death and shit. Like it's scary because it's like the idea like that it's something like it's a robot and like you're there alone. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that, but
Yeah,
we can move on now. So last week I suggested the movie Mother, directed by Darren Aronofsky, came out in 2017, and it stars Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem.
yeah,
For people who haven't seen it, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe
yeah.
the general
Basically,
plot, but it's yeah, you could describe it because you
it,
just watched it, so
I'll say like it's about a man and a woman that live in a house. The man's a writer and he has like writer's block, and this guy shows up one day and just like wants his well his her husband wants the guy to stay the night, and it just kind of goes from there. That's the simple. There's like way the movie goes off the rails.
yeah, but it's just basically these two people live in a little secluded house, and then randomly people start showing up at the house. The husband lets them in to stay. The wife is against it, and it just keeps getting more and more crazy.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts, Joe? Because you just watched it, and I'm
Yeah.
curious what you think.
I like honestly, this is probably one of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I never had a movie make me feel so anxious. Like I had to pause the movie towards the end. And I'm not really an anxious person. Like I thought I was gonna have a heart attack at the end of the like towards the end of the movie. Like it's so unsettling and like it's so chaotic, but like it makes sense. Like it does. I don't know how to like. It's literally like an experience. Like you have to watch this movie in order to like. I feel like I can't even talk about it. I don't know
Yeah,
if you like.
yeah, it's something you have to experience, and I agree. I was like, there's certain scenes in it where my heart was pounding. I was
Yeah,
genuinely getting so anxious,
yeah,
especially when the brothers are fighting, which that was probably my favorite scene. Just them like running around the house, breaking shit, and Jennifer Lawrence's character is like running after them. She's like, "Please stop, please stop!" Like it just that scene especially had me like super tense, I guess.
yeah.
Um,
No, I mean I know the scene for me. It's not the, when when like she falls asleep
yeah, dude,
and her husband brings the baby out and you see the baby like going through the crowd. Like I had to pause the movie. I was like, bro, I can't like
I know, bro. And then the baby's fucking neck gets snapped going
snapped.
through the crowd. Yeah, it's just so
Like,
unnerving,
yeah.
you know? They actually did that with a practical effect. They had a baby that was getting carried like a puppeteer guy. It was like a robotic baby, and when he like flipped the switch on the thing, its neck just like cracked.
Yeah, like, kinda just, like, snapped that like, it wasn't like it was just, like, throwing it around, it's just,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, and then, like, the whole, like, at the like, when she finds the baby and, like, eating it.
yeah, they eat the baby, and that's just yeah. We'll talk about that in a
Yeah,
sec,
what
but
yeah, that yeah, there's a lot of things that I, like, didn't understand. There's a lot of the biggest probably inspiration for this movie, I could say, is, like, Catholicism. There's a lot of Catholic references in the movie.
yeah,
So as
the
soon as
way
I saw that, I understood what the reference was.
yeah, it's basically the story of the creation of Earth and God. Javier
Yeah.
Bardem is supposed to be God, and in the film, he doesn't have a name. His name is just him.
It's just him, yeah,
And then Jennifer Lawrence, her name is just Mother.
yeah,
So I don't know if the way that I saw it, and I didn't come up with this theory on my own, but this is just from the one that makes the most sense to me is Jennifer Lawrence is playing Mother Nature,
yeah,
Javier
for
Bardem is God, and the house
God,
is Earth.
Earth.
So she's fixing up the house the whole time, so it's like Mother Nature fixing Earth, whatever. And Javier Bardem keeps letting these people in, and he's like, "Oh yeah, whatever. Like these people need a home, this and that."
Yeah,
It's God like putting humans onto Earth, basically.
yeah,
And it's kind of like showing how badly humans fucked up the planet.
kinda, yeah.
And it's sort of like I don't know if it's questioning faith, but it's like if there is a God, like how moral is he? You know?
Yeah, I agree, it's questioning the whole thing of, like, is God really a good like, it's like, this depiction of, like, is God really a good person? No, I mean, he's not a person, but you know what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
like, with all the
Yeah.
things that happen. Like, yes, he's being, like, generous to the people coming in, but he's forgetting about, like, it's not just his house.
Yeah. And another thing that kind of points to her being Mother Nature is she has like a connection with the house.
Yeah,
She can hear it breathing and stuff. The house seems to be alive, at least to her.
yeah.
So, um,
Like, what are some of the other, like,
religious.
Catholicism yeah, like, because I
Oh,
mean,
one.
obviously
Okay,
what?
sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, go.
Finish. One thing that I didn't notice the first time I watched, but there is a like a blink and you miss it. Remember the first night when the guy is throwing up in the bathroom
Yeah.
and um I don't know if you noticed this, but he has like a huge cut on his back. Do you remember that?
Mm, no.
So yeah, it's like a blink and you miss it, but he's throwing up and he has this big gash on his back. And then Javier Bardem like quickly hides it. And that is supposed to be in the Bible, God apparently took a rib from Adam
Oh,
and
yeah, took the rib out and then filled it with
made Eve.
flesh, yeah.
So his it looks like he has a gash in his back where the rib was taken out. Or it's not on his back, it's on like his side.
Yeah.
But and then the next day Eve, quote unquote, his wife shows up.
Yeah.
So that was another reference to it. Um let me think. Obviously like uh, eating the baby is like how they eat the body
Body
of
of
Christ.
Christ, yeah.
There's also a bunch of other stuff like when especially when it's in the madness and chaos at the end. There's a lot of like
Yeah.
one-off lines that people say. Like one of the guests was saying, "Oh, the poet says it's everyone's house." Kind of like saying how God is
Yeah.
saying like the earth belongs to like mankind,
Everybody,
you
yeah.
know. Um what's it called? So yeah, I was talking about that scene at the end where or not it's more than a scene, but when complete chaos is ensuing and there's like a million
Yeah.
people flooding in the house, everything's getting destroyed. That's kind of like where our society is
Is
today,
now, yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
Um and that's also why there's an exclamation point on the mother name. It's because of that scene. It's just
Yeah.
supposed to like yeah, that's what the director said. Um
Well, I'm trying to what was do you remember the scene of, I forgot her name. She's a comedian, though, she plays his
oh,
manager.
Kristen Wiig. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was
Was
good.
she just yeah, I liked her, but What was the scene with her where she just shoots the people in the head? Like, what is that? What is that? And then also like the woman
I
in the
don't know.
cage. Remember, like there's the girls in the cage.
Yeah, there's a couple things I didn't understand. I had a couple notes on the movie that I wrote down, and one of them was, yeah, what does that mean? What do the cops represent? Why are they
Yeah,
why is there like a dancing club kind of like group? Did
yeah,
you see that in the back?
yeah. And there's like people just having sex in the middle of the
Yeah.
group.
I think that it doesn't mean anything. It's just supposed to like show
Like shows just
chaos.
chaos. Yeah,
Um
I'm trying to think like the.
yeah, there's a couple other things. Also, at the
I feel like
end,
the cages thing. The only thing I can really think is like religions in history tend to be very sexist towards women. So I thought maybe that was something to do with that. But like that's kind of like going out on a limb.
yeah.
That's
And
really the
also
only.
it's kind of
Go
like
on.
no matter what she does, it's never enough for him, you know? No
Yeah,
matter what
yeah.
the earth can give to humans and to God,
It's
it's
never
never
enough.
enough,
Yeah,
you know? There's also a scene where she gets beat up and um he like blames all the people for beating her up when it's really his fault, you know?
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
kind of like God saying like why are not God, but I guess like blaming people for destroying Earth when
yeah.
technically it could be seen as God's fault
God's fault for
if there is a
like,
God because he
yeah,
put everyone here, you know?
yeah.
Um, Also, it comes full circle at the end, which was cool. The first shot of the movie was like a girl on fire, and then it shows Jennifer Lawrence being born shortly after.
So what is that? Him just restarting Earth again?
Yeah, it's just him trying to find. It could be, if you're gonna take it as a literal sense, it could mean like there's other planets that he tried first and they all failed, and then like Jennifer
It's okay.
Lawrence was Earth, or
Yeah.
maybe the next person could be Earth, you know? And he's just trying all these different worlds to see if one of
I
them will
just took it as like
survive.
him restarting the world. Like I didn't think it was like different planets. It was like
Yeah,
the same. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's like it's cyclical.
Yeah.
Um, just there was a bunch of also like behind the scenes stuff, which I found very interesting.
Well,
Um, she's the whole movie. Jennifer Lawrence is barefoot.
really? I mean, that makes
Yeah,
sense if you think about it.
yeah. Also, she was phenomenal. It's probably
Yeah,
one of the
I'm
best.
surprised she didn't win anything for those. Like she had some really like emotional performance, like especially emotional moments in the
I
movie.
know, and she put like her all into the film.
Yeah.
She cracked a rib while filming.
Really?
Yeah, she took a year off after this because of just how taxing the role was.
Yeah.
So like it just goes to show like how much she cared and how much effort she put in.
Yeah.
Also, every single shot in the movie is either an over the shoulder shot of her, a close up of her,
Yeah.
or a view of what she's looking at. And
Yeah.
that's every shot of the movie, which is good. And I was watching some cuz I got the Blu-ray, like the 4K, and there was some behind the scenes stuff that it came with. So I was watching some of there was like a short like 25-minute documentary about how like the making of the film and how they filmed it.
Yeah.
The house is a practical effect. They built the entire set of the house, which was cool.
Yeah, I figured they just built like a house for the, you know,
Yeah, also, um, it had a hard time finding a distributor because especially because of that scene of the baby dying.
baby.
And yeah, like originally Fox turned it down and then it was picked up. There's also an interview of her saying like I saw it on TikTok recently, which is like weird, but she was saying there was this one scene I did in this movie that like the way it made me feel, I would never do that for a film again. And it's just when her baby dies. Like it's so heartbreaking. And her as an actor, she probably tried to put herself in that mindset.
Yeah.
And that goes into
Yeah, that
why
scene's
she
insane.
yeah. It's just
That
like
honestly was one of the like the 2 minute sequence of like her waking up to like her like when they go to like uh there's like the I don't know what you call it. Whatever if she finds the baby like
yeah, and then they like beat the fuck out of her.
out of her, yeah.
And also, that was every time nude in a film. And she
What?
said up and like her shirt comes down, you see her breasts. You remember that or no?
Oh, yeah, yeah, kinda.
She said, like, it was her choice, but she had never done nudity before, and it was because when she saw it back of them beating her up, she's like, "Nah, like, it has to be, like, more extreme. They have to, like, literally tear my clothes off because she wanted it to be,
Yeah.
like, as insane as possible. Um, another thing excuse me, another interesting thing, it also received an F cinema score.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it really isn't critically, liked I feel like I saw it in the 50s on Rotten Tomatoes. I know you're not supposed to look into those things, but, I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the best films I've ever seen in my entire life, and some people just generally hate it. I feel like people just don't I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't understand how people rate it so low.
Yeah, neither do I,
I think it's like a
honestly.
masterpiece.
Yeah, I thought it was great, and like Darren Aronofsky is amazing,
Yeah.
and he also you have to watch Black Swan, but he's coming out with a movie, next
Yeah,
year, The Whale.
The Whale with Brandon Fraser and the girl from Stranger Things.
Yeah, Sadie Sink.
Yeah.
That's exciting. You're probably more hyped for that now that you've seen
Oh,
this, right?
yeah. I mean, I was already excited for that as well,
Yeah,
but I'm assuming there's gonna be deeper meanings than just a teacher trying to lose weight in the film.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
also one other thing in the movie that wasn't resolved. The yellow, like, substance that she drinks.
Oh, yeah. Well, they never explain that, right?
I couldn't find anything online. I had no idea what it was, and no one really knows. There's no, like, right answer. People think that it's the sun, like sunlight, but I mean, I guess it technically works. Like every time she's feeling anxious or like she gets like you see like her vision gets blurry, whatever, she just drinks that and she's good. I guess it's like the sun healing the earth. That could kind of work, but I feel like
Yeah, but then
that's
why did she dump it?
once she got pregnant, she dumped it. Yeah. So what did her being pregnant? Why did that mean that she didn't need it anymore?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. That's one of the things that is just like everyone could just take their own opinion and that's it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Also, I think my favorite character, obviously, the easy choice is Mother,
Yeah.
but I really loved
Javier
Gleason,
oh?
Domhnall Gleason. He's like one of the brothers, the one that kills his brother.
Oh, he's in Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love him. He's in the Revenant
Yeah.
also, and he
Yeah,
had a
I
for the short time he was in it, he was great. Also, Michelle Pfeiffer's in it. Ed Harris is in it. The cast all around is really good. But yeah, you loved Javier Bardem too, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
I was surprised Kristen Wiig was in it.
yeah, she wasn't in it for long, and she is more of a comedic actor.
Yeah. But
But
it was, yeah, like you said, the cast for the was just phenomenal.
yeah, I was gonna say, where do you think this would rank? Not like an actual ranking, but where would you put this among like other religious films? You know, because it's definitely a different approach on how to tell a religious story.
Honestly, I haven't really seen a lot of religious films, so I wouldn't really give me an example.
I mean, like Mary Magdalene, I watched, which is where um what's his face? Joaquin Phoenix plays Jesus. Also, Silence by Martin Scorsese is a great one. That's the one with Adam Driver and Liam Neeson.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and those are more like literal, just stories of
Yeah,
like actual religious history. You
I
know,
feel like a lot of religious movies don't, incorporate the bad aspects of religion. I feel like
Mm,
usually most of them are, stories of, interpretations of actual biblical writings or scripture or, holy scripture. This was the first movie that, kinda looked at religion in kind of, a negative connotation in
yeah,
what it's and I thought I think it was really interesting. I enjoyed that.
I also enjoyed that it wasn't afraid to question faith. You know, and question
Yeah,
like who humans see as God. You know, and I also
yeah,
feel like it's really a better way to tell a religious story without being, like, boring, you know,
Bias. Oh,
or
yeah,
biased,
bias,
because
yeah.
it's all the same. It's basically the same story, it's just you make it more exciting and more interesting
Yeah,
by having all this crazy stuff happen, but the same central themes are there, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, and this is after watching this is the second time I've seen it, but this is kinda what solidified Jennifer Lawrence as being one of my favorite actresses, because
Yeah,
I
after
don't.
I've never really I mean, I've seen her in the X-Men stuff, but I know she didn't really, like, enjoy making those movies, but she shot up my list of favorite actors, like, after this movie. I've never like, this is one of the best performances I think I've ever seen in a film.
I agree, yeah, and she's also great in Silver Linings Playbook, but I think I mentioned it to you before, for some reason, I don't know if you guys know, if anyone watching or listening Golden Razzies is. It's basically like the Oscars, but for bad acting and bad movies. They give films like Razzies for being terrible, and she won like a Golden Razzie for her performance in this. Like,
Oh, but, like, I don't understand, like, even if, like, you don't like the film, like, I don't understand how you think that's a bad performance.
yeah, I don't understand the hate on this movie. Like, I actually really don't.
I guess people think it's too, like, in your face, some of the stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, I think one thing that could be seen as bad is, yeah, like you said, it's like too on the nose with the religious stuff. Like, it's literally Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, you know?
But
Like, it's not.
I enjoyed that. I thought it was cool. I don't know. I really like. I like usually they never show religious because like if you think about it, it is a religious story. Like it's taking the story of the Bible, like Genesis when they and
Yeah,
like it's all like different scriptures and stuff. So like it's just its own unique interpretation of it. I like
yeah.
seeing it in like a setting like this.
Yeah, so do I. But I'm just trying to like brainstorm as to why it's hate people, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like,
Um,
I was looking at the range of some of the reviews on Letterboxd, like, from people that I follow, and, like, it literally goes from, like, a half a star to 5 stars, like, the reviews are all over the place.
yeah. And I think that Letterbox is like a 3.5, maybe,
Yeah. I thought
which
it
is
was gonna
still,
be way higher. It's still good,
yeah,
but, like,
it's
I
still
thought it was gonna be a
good.
lot higher. I thought it was gonna be,
Yeah,
like, 3.94.
yeah. Yeah, this is just one of those that I'll never understand the
Stand
hate
the
for
hate
it,
for it,
you
yeah.
know? And this is like a perfect example of being able to have your own opinions about film. Like, it doesn't matter what the critics say or what the cinema score is or how much it makes at the box office. Like, if you only watch stuff based on what other people think or what other people say, then you're limiting yourself in terms of
Exactly, yeah.
like great experiences in watching film, you know?
I
So,
agree.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know who your favorite character would be, Joe, but I'm assuming.
Probably Javier, but I mean, I remember hearing him being cast as Frankenstein, and I thought that was like sick. This is like 2017. I remember seeing him in Pirates of the Caribbean, but he was really good in this. Like
Yeah,
I don't I really enjoyed his character. Like he was
yeah,
very like I don't know how to explain it. Like I know he's playing God, but almost at the time when the movie towards the end, I thought it was gonna be that he was playing the devil because of the way he
yeah.
treat that. That's what I thought was gonna be one of the things that happened.
I mean, that's actually a great point. I didn't even think that, but there is
But
like how he's almost that he's God, but he's almost as bad as the devil in what he
I
does, you
literally
know?
at the end, I thought he was gonna be like that's what it was gonna be, was that he's the devil.
That would have been a cool twist.
Yeah,
You should write Aronofsky's next film, honestly.
get me on that, produce the next thing.
Well, how much would you pay for the Aronofsky FNAF movie?
Imagine if he produced it, that'd be like
Imagine
the
they
fucking
imagine they just come out with the director and it's him.
what would you do if they had, like, the most stacked, like, fucking cast attached to this mo like, they had, like I remember people always said, like, Willem Dafoe was William Afton. I always see that on Twitter all the time.
I could see it.
And then, like,
I don't know if he would do that. He
nah, he would
definitely
never do
wouldn't,
it. He would
but
never do it.
I'm assuming that movie's gonna have like a cast of unknowns. But
Probably.
yeah,
There's no
no,
maybe
but
they'll get, like, one big guy.
yeah. Nah, we're getting a little off topic, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess let's just get to ratings.
yeah. I mean, I gave
So
this. Oh, you want
yeah,
me to go
you go
first?
first. No, you go first. Go ahead.
I gave it a 10 out of 10, which I don't I never I think I have over like 100 something movies watched, and I've only given 6 films a 10 out of 10. So I like this is the best thriller movie I've ever seen. It's probably right now it's up there with one of the best films I've ever seen. Like it was just such an experience to watch. Everybody needs
Yeah,
to watch this film. I want to like see their own interpretation of it.
I agree, and yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's basically the point of this podcast.
Yeah.
Introduce people to great films,
Yeah.
and you know, then at the same time, you go watch a great film, and you can also like hear us talk about it after. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I like it a little bit less than you. I gave it a 9 out of 10, which still great, but there are definitely like some flaws in it
Oh
in
yeah,
in
100%.
terms of not really the filmmaking aspects of it, but just a lot of some stuff goes unanswered, like that yellow liquid.
Yeah, there's some
Like,
plot points that they don't
yeah, it's not the
completely
end of the
tie up.
world, but yeah, a lot of stuff doesn't make sense. It's slow at points, but I don't know. I I don't know. Sometimes it is a little bit too extreme for me in the end, where it's like all that anxiety inducing shit. But at the same time, I guess that's what it's trying to do. You know?
Yeah, like that's for me why I gave it 5 stars. Was like I've never felt like that during a film. Like no film has ever made me feel that anxious or that stressed during watching it. That I had literally paused the film because I thought I was gonna have like a heart attack.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I mean,
that's
that's
why
the
for
whole
me
point.
that's like it did its job. Like for me, it's 5 stars. Like because I can't even think of a film any that made me feel anywhere as close to stressed as I was during that film.
Yeah, the only one that comes to mind for me would be like Uncut Gems, but that's a different kind of anxiety, I guess. Also, Joker. When I saw Joker in theaters, I was very stressed watching it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I was just, especially on that scene when he goes to the talk show, because
Oh,
not
I
knowing
mean,
like,
I knew that was gonna happen.
yeah, not knowing what's gonna happen, and there's
Well,
like
yeah,
that,
if you have no
that
idea, yeah.
dude, my heart was pounding watching that.
That's
But
from, like, straight out of the I don't even think the comics, I think it's from, like, a cartoon. There's an episode where he goes on a talk show, and, like, it's like he goes on with a psychologist. It's a little different, though, obviously, but, like, the psychologist like, "Oh, like, he's, like, insane." Like, he has mental issues and stuff like that, and the Joker ends up, like, fucking, like, shooting everybody in the crowd.
mm,
So I had a f like, as soon as I saw him go on a talk show, I was like, "He's definitely gonna shoot someone
yeah,
there."
yeah.
And yeah.
But yeah, Mother closing thoughts. This is one that everyone should watch at some point.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and if this is your first time watching Aronofsky, he has a great filmography. So
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch more of his stuff now.
check out Black Swan for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, um, so I guess we could move on to the Q&A quickly. We
You
have
want me to recommend
three.
my movie or do the
Nah,
Q&A
you could
first?
recommend it at the end.
Okay.
So yeah, we have three questions this week. So a little upgrade from last week, but we're still slacking on that participation from the audience.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me pull these up really quick. Okay, so here's one from, unsurprisingly, Pate. And she asks, if you could live in any cinematic universe, what would it be and why? Joe, you want to
That's a
go
pretty
first?
good question. Um, I'm trying to think. Definitely not like any suit like MCU. I wouldn't, or like DCU. No way I would do those. I'd be dead in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, I agree. No
Um,
superhero.
yeah, probably. Um, honestly, I mean, this is an anime, but the One Piece verse, I
You would
feel
be
like
a
it would be.
pirate?
Oh, I feel like it'd be sick. You get like a devil fruit. I feel like it'd be so cool being a fucking pirate. That I mean, you could be a marine too, but like I think that'll be like the power system there's sick. But I mean, also like I'd probably end up dying, but I definitely feel safer in there than I would in like the MCU though.
Yeah, the MCU, you could just be chilling and like a
Yeah, like
car will
literally
just come smashing
half the
through.
population fucking died.
Yeah. Also, like, DCEU is definitely a no after watching, like, Man of
Yeah, Man of
Steel.
Steel just
Buildings get
level the
completely
city, yeah.
destroyed.
No way.
Um, One that comes to mind for me is Harry Potter. I feel like being able to be a wizard and, like, going to Hogwarts and
Yeah.
stuff,
Star
it's
Wars
like
too is another one.
yeah, Star Wars is cool, but I
But
feel like
also you get a
being a
fucking
wizard
sword.
is, it would just be cool,
Cool.
I
Yeah,
guess,
it's
yeah.
cool.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's probably insanely nerdy of me to say, but
Nah, but it's cool. It would be
yeah,
cool.
in terms of the cinematic universes, that's definitely one.
Yeah.
Also, another one I wouldn't, Godzilla,
Oh,
even though that would be in
hell
Japan, but
no. Hell no.
yeah. Imagine just peering out your window and there's a gorilla and giant lizard just beefing over the city.
Yeah. No, I'm okay.
I'm trying to think. Oh, Pokemon is a good one too.
Oh yeah, actually, I changed my answer. There's a decent chance that in One Piece land or verse, I'd get fucking murdered. At least Pokemon, just chill out, be a Pokemon. I feel like I'd be a sick Pokemon trainer.
Your Jack and you would be awesome at training Pokemon.
I'd be like Trainer Red. I'd be a beast.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of any more that come to me really, because there's not a lot of
No,
synapses. The monster, oh, the Dark Universe
with
with Tom Cruise's The
Tom
Mummy.
Cruise is the Mummy. Yeah.
Yeah, I could mess with that world. Also, what's that other one?
What the Lego verse?
The Legoverse.
Well, they have all the Lego movies.
How about the FNAF verse once it comes out?
Okay, I'll be the Purple Man.
Yeah, I could see the FNAF verse. Oh, I would also join the Sony Marvel universe so I could see Morbius flying
Well,
through the
speaking
streets.
of, we didn't get to talk about that. The Madam Web plot.
Oh, that plot leak?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, honestly, just run through it really quick,
Yeah.
and
I
then
mean,
we'll.
I didn't read the complete plot leak, but the general census from what I got was basically it's like a time travel story, and all the Spider Woman are trying to protect, uh, like kind of like John Connor, where like they're trying to protect and make sure Peter Parker's born, which honestly sounds pretty sick. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie. It's
that's a
probably
great
gonna be
idea.
it's gonna be ass, but like that's at least like the plot actually sounds cool. But now if they execute it or not, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to get sidetracked here, but yeah, I mean, it sounds good. I guess we'll have more to talk about when more is released.
Yeah.
Maybe like a trailer poster or something. But
But
yeah,
yeah,
Pete, to answer your question, my final answer is probably Harry Potter.
I'm saying the Pokemon verse.
All right. That was a great question, though.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that was a good question.
All right. Next, Alexandra or Caring Sis. Most overrated and underrated movies. I guess I could go first for this.
No, you're
Overrated,
good. Yeah,
I
go
got a
ahead.
couple that come to mind. First, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Probably the most overrated movie of all time. And it's not a bad movie. Like it's a 3 star. It's a 6 out of 10. But it's so many people's favorite movie. For what
I
reason?
mean,
I don't understand.
I like it. It's not my favorite movie though.
But it's like on this high
It's fun.
pedestal. Like it's just a coming of age story. Like it's just a like there's nothing crazy good about it. I just don't understand why people love it so much.
I don't know. I enjoy. I feel like that was like one of the first movies really like that in that style at the time.
Yeah, I guess.
So a lot of people like fucked it at the time.
Yeah, another one that comes to mind, Black Panther. Not that it's bad, but
Yeah, Black Panther is very overrated. I
then
mean I like Black Panther, but it's not like the best fucking superhero film I've ever seen. It's okay. It's good, but like it gets hyped up way too much.
yeah, and then the last one I'll say, and I'm probably gonna catch some heat for this, is the Back to the Future trilogy. It's
Honestly, I haven't
over
seen those in
it's
so long, so I
overrated.
can't even.
It's still good, like I said, but people hold it on this high pedestal like it's the greatest like movie trilogy of all time, and in my opinion, it's just not up there. Um,
I'm trying to think of overrated movies.
yeah, does anything come to mind for you?
No, I mean I haven't seen this movie, but I feel like it's gonna be overrated. But this is just my personal opinion because like I don't really like the plot. Like I already see what it's about. I'm not really into it, but it's a very famous movie and a lot of people love it. The Godfather.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Like,
one.
I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, well, the thing about The Godfather, it for the first time this year, and
Is it good?
it is very good, but you go in with such high expectations because of its reputation that no matter what, like, you're gonna be disappointed,
Yeah.
you know? Unless it fully meets every single thing
I
that
mean,
you're looking
me
for
I
in
have
it.
no expectations for it. I know everyone gasses it up, but, like, well, I mean, I'm gonna watch it one day, but we'll see what happens. Like, I don't think I'm gonna be like, "Oh, I'm ready to see I think it's gonna be the greatest movie in the world."
Yeah. Um, yeah, I guess we'll say the most underrated. I mean, obviously, Mother, as we were just saying.
Yeah, Mother. Yeah, that's criminally
Mother.
underrated.
Another one that
Um,
comes to mind is it's not really underrated, but I feel like people don't talk about it a lot, but it's a Arrival.
I
I
haven't
think it's
seen.
I think it's one of the best movies ever made, like top 3 best movies like ever made. And it doesn't really when people think of alien films, it doesn't come to mind. Um,
Yeah, like, I love No. So, you said I would love Arrival. You said Arrival's, like, way better, right?
yeah. I mean, it's a different type of story, yeah.
No, yeah, I know. I'm trying to think for underrated.
Underrated
I
harder.
mean, I have one that people don't really talk about it, but I think it's like a criminally underrated comedy. Super bad. I feel like people don't talk about that
I
movie as much
mean,
as they
I don't think
should.
that's underrated. I feel like people that's like a highly coveted comedy film, you know?
Yeah.
People fuck with that movie a lot, I feel like.
I feel like I never met someone that doesn't like Superbad.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, underrated is kinda tough, but
Yeah, it's
yeah,
definitely easier to overrate stuff than underrated.
yeah. Alright, thanks for the question,
Mhm.
Alexandra. One more we have is from Emily, who asks, who's your favorite final girl?" And for those of you who don't know what a final girl is, it's this it's this character that's common within old school horror films, and it's basically when a murderer is going after this group of people, there's always one girl left who ends up, like, killing him or saving the day or whatever it may be, and they're known as the final girl. The one that comes to mind as probably the most famous would be Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis from the Halloween
Yeah,
franchise.
that's like like to me that's the only one that really sticks out. But I haven't really watched a lot of the old horror in a while. So I mean, you would probably know better than I would.
Yeah, the thing is for me it's tough because I think the best, unbiasedly the best is probably Sydney Prescott, played by Nev Campbell from the Scream franchise, because up until this point she's been in every single Scream movie. And the franchise wouldn't be what it is without her, which brings us to like another point as apparently they didn't offer her enough money to be in the sequel in Scream 6, which is just like ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
that you're not going to pay your star who's been in your movies since the beginning. Like if Wes Craven was still alive, there's no way he would let that shit happen. So
No. Is she
it's
like
kind of
100% not coming back?
she said she's not done with the franchise yet, but she wasn't willing to come back for this film if they're not going to offer her.
They're filming soon though, right?
They started filming already.
It's in New York, right?
Yeah, it takes place in New York.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably she's probably the best one because she's been in all the movies and she's probably like one of the coolest characters. But my personal favorite is probably um Nancy Thompson, played by Heather Langenkamp from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. But the thing that I just love her. I love Heather Langenkamp, but the thing that kind of makes me think that she shouldn't be the best is she's only in 3 of the movies, which is the first one, Dream Warriors, which is the 3rd, I think. And she's in New Nightmare also, which is like the most recent one. I, d- I don't know. I just love her character. I love the actress. And
I don't know, this is kind of off topic, but I don't understand how they don't have a Friday the 13th. Like, not Friday the 13th, I'm sorry. Nightmare on Elm Street, like something in the works. Like, I feel like that's so easy to make a good movie.
I mean,
Like, you can
clearly
make
it's not.
Freddy. I feel like Freddy, like, you can have so many unique ways of him killing people. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's not that hard of a like
Well,
the
that's
con
the
like
thing. What
uh,
you're saying about unique ways of killing people, that's I don't know. I ran through the whole franchise kind of recently. There's like a bunch of shit like, most of them are terrible,
Yeah.
but the ones that's really good is Dream Warriors, which is, like, Freddy in that film sort of targets people's, like, real grounded fears, like anxiety, depression, stuff like
Yeah, that's what I'm
that,
saying,
so
like, you
it's
could
very
they could do shit
interesting.
like that, like
I think they're just scared to do one without Robert Englund, you know? Because they tried it once and it was terrible.
yeah.
And how are you gonna fill in those shoes, you know?
But honestly, like, this is kind of a little controversial, but, like, I feel like Freddie, like, obviously, he owns the role, but you don't really need to be anyone like, you don't need to be an amazing actor. Like, he really just has, like, one-liners and shit, like, it's
I
not
don't
like
know. I mean, he Robert Englund brought like a ton of style to Freddy Krueger.
no,
And he
but the
was
blueprint is there now. Like, it's not like, he has to make it his own, like, you know with how to act as Freddy. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
but it's just gonna be, oh, he's doing his best Robert Englund impression, you know?
But if it's
So
good, who cares?
that's true.
That's what I'm saying, like, I don't
Yeah, and that's also that's this is I don't mean to get too off topic, but this is one of the reasons why I love the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise so much. It's because Freddy is such a great villain because he's not like this Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, doesn't say anything, these brooding guys that just
yeah.
walk around slowly and kill people. Like, he has personality.
Yeah,
He
he
like he
reminds
like
me honestly, he reminds me of, like, Beetlejuice, kind of.
yeah.
Similar,
Yeah,
like,
definitely similar vibes. And he like fucks with his victims too. Like, he'll like make fun of them and then kill
yeah,
them.
yeah.
Like, it's just I don't know. It's more like
Wasn't he, like, silent in the newer one that came? He was, like, quiet. I remember, like, seeing clips
he
of it.
wasn't silent, but he was just very like dark and brooding and just no like I don't know.
Personality.
No personality. Yeah.
That's it. That's what makes the character.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they didn't understand in this remake. Yeah, but they're just scared to touch it, honestly.
I mean,
But
eventually
yeah,
they're gonna, cause like, look at they're doing The Exorcist now, and they're doing, they said we're getting Friday the 13th news soon.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they'll do it eventually. Hopefully Robert Englund will come back, but we'll see. But yeah, to answer your question, Emily, my favorite is Nancy Thompson. Joe, I don't know if you're not as like versed
Yeah, I'm
in
gonna just say Jamie Lee Curtis's character in Halloween, just because that's the only one that really sticks out to me.
yeah. All right, well, that wraps up our questions. Joe, you have a movie to recommend, so let's hear
Yeah,
it.
so after seeing Nope and, like, seeing like, for me, like, a really unique take on an alien film, I wanted to recommend The Thing. I know you've seen it before.
No, I actually haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
very excited though because I really wanted to check this one out.
yeah. So, without getting into spoilers, basically the plot of The Thing is, I haven't seen this movie in a really long time, but there's like a military base or something in in Antarctica, and basically there's an alien there, but the alien like can like takes the form of like a human. So like it's kind of like a manhunt of like who the alien is, but like the
So it's
unique
like
thing about
Among Us, basically.
basically honestly, yeah, it kind of is like Among Us, and um, but the alien like I don't know,
Shapeshifts, right?
shapeshifts, yeah. So like it'll turn into like a creature made from a human body. So like all the things are like really, and it's made in the 80s, so it's all practical effects. So it
Yeah,
looks
and just
sick.
for people not to get confused, I'm assuming you're talking about the 1982 one by John Carpenter, right?
Yes, not the 2011.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm very excited. So that's thanks for recommending that. That's
Yeah,
a
that
great
was like
one.
one of the first like, because it kind of is horror. That was like one of the first horror
Oh,
movies
yeah,
I
it
ever
definitely is horror.
yeah.
I have a feeling I'm gonna love it, but
Yeah,
yeah,
especially because you're big into like, I mean, me too. I love stuff with practical effects. Like
yeah,
everything is practical effect, and like there's such like cool, like unique, like looking thing. Like I don't. There's a famous one of like
yeah. The
the
creature
guy's head.
design.
Yeah, like the guy's head's upside down. And has like legs walking. There's a
All right.
really
Yeah.
cool. I don't know. You probably haven't seen. Have you seen the CPR scene?
No, I haven't seen any of the
Okay, yeah.
scenes
So I'm
really.
not gonna
So
say anything.
all right. Well,
There's a
yeah,
real yeah,
we'll be
yeah,
talking about that in 2 weeks.
yeah. That and
So
then
yeah,
She-Hulk and whatever else.
we'll get bodies, 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 which I'm going to see tonight.
Yes. And then
and
Dragon
we'll
Ball Z.
yeah, we'll talk about this new even though I don't know anything about anime, we'll talk about this Dragon Ball movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pretty much
Alright,
wraps
well,
it up, yeah.
wraps it up. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Thank you for listening, guys.
Make sure to follow us on our Instagram so we can update you on any film news, and you can see when we drop our episodes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, alright. So, see you guys in 2 weeks.
Peace.